Awareness of the breath. Watch the breath. The breath is the tool for self-realization. When we remember the breath, we become aware of the potential of and for self-realization. When we forget the breath, then the potential for self-realization disappears for that entire duration, and life is wasted. It's just like remembering God. When you remember God, you feel happy. You feel connected. The same power is given when you remember breath. The emotions may not be there as much as remembering God or divinity. But the intensity might be there. After all, if God is life, then breath is also life. So breath and God could most probably be very closely related. And yes, it is so. In the science of yoga, it is mentioned that breath is God, is life. So the interpretation of what God is up to individual preference, or what they have been taught or told, or what they read about, what they have been shown by their scriptures and their teachers and their parents. It's all good anyway. It's good to follow, because by following you are not damaged. You are given an opportunity for self-realization, and the only criteria for following is to have an infinite state of awareness. That it has to be, that what we follow has to be seen in infinity, not limited to certain sectarian or narrow views. It needs to be unlimited, just like the universe. Unlimited, infinite. So the breath allows us to attain that state. So how do we attain? By remembering the breath, being aware of the breath. Whenever we are aware, then we bring our awareness to the breath and we watch, because watching the breath and being aware of the breath is much more easier than just bringing awareness into our consciousness. Being aware needs great stamina. But being aware of the breath does not require that much of stamina. Just that the motivation needs to be clear. Why do I want to be aware of the breath? What is the purpose? What are the benefits? What if I don't? Then if you don't, then what happens to your awareness? It is fluctuating, dissipated, distracted. Does that bring any form of everlasting peace and happiness? No. You have found happiness and peace and centeredness when you pray. When you are in a certain practice of devotion, it will bring so much of joy and centeredness and happiness, because the mind is engaged in a higher state of awareness. It is engaged. So the same way we can train with the breath. We can engage the mind on the natural breath, and we remember to engage. If we forget, then the mind fluctuates back into the other states which are of no use to your evolution. It may bring about a temporary state of happiness because it is sense-based, but eventually it dissipates our energy and awareness. In the beginning it happens because and due to the force of nature, but as we keep on training in the breath, as we keep on refining our training and our awareness and our technology and techniques, then we become more and more aware of the potential that we have, the greatness that we have, the inner strength that we have, the inner love that we have, the inner unity that we have, the inner oneness that we have, then when we have this realization, then everything else becomes clear. When we have this self-realization, understanding what is the purpose of my life, why I am here. It can be completely different from what you have been taught, trained, brainwashed, educated upon, asked to memorize, asked to believe. And all this is crushed. There is no more blind faith. Your faith is built on your own experience, and that experience is sanctioned by the great seers. They say that one must explore one's own path, and that one's own path has to be very gentle. It has to be kind. It has to be benevolent. It has to be pure. And this pure is, what is this purity? The first primary quality of kindness is being good to each other. That is the test of purity. Purity is where you can see anyone and everyone with equal vision. The same love that you have for your mother, for your father, for your grandparents, for your child, for your children. Why do we hesitate to feel that to another person outside the circle of the family? Why do we hesitate? When we get married, we do show this, don't we? It may or may not last. It is not important, but we did have this at that time, or you may even have it right now. So, why not extend it to the entire humanity? Remembering breath, since breath is so kind to us and it keeps on supplying us with life, every breath is an opportunity to continue this moment. Every breath is an opportunity to continue the next moment and continue. And that opportunity to live, to be part of life, is to contribute this greatness that we have. This greatness is nothing else than kindness. You are great as long as you are kind. It is not your title, your position, your money, your youth, your beauty, your learnings. It is not at all that. It is kindness. Even a person who is simple, who is so-called uneducated, illiterate, selling some fruits in the stall, if that person is kind and gentle and truly loving, you can see greatness. Through kindness, you see greatness. But on the other hand, if someone has great power, great learning, but yet not kind, due to fear, you will follow that person. Due to fear, but internally it is all empty. There's emptiness from that person, there's emptiness from the person who is following that person, because there is no kindness. But if the person yields tremendous power and influence, yet at the same time is completely benevolent, loving, then you can see the same intensity that you see in this person, the same intensity that you see in the guard who guards your house or your apartment or your neighborhood, who is kind and friendly and loving and genuinely caring for your safety and well-being. That same greatness is seen. And where do you see it? You see it in the simple kindness that comes from all phases, all colors, all ages, all gender, all walks of life. You can see it. You just need to have it coming from you. What do you want to see? You need to project. What do you want to have in your life? You need to extend that. You need to give before you receive. You need to give kindness and you will reach, you will achieve, you will receive. All boils down to training, to be consistent, to remember. And the first training is to remember to practice. The next higher training is to remember to be aware of the breath. And the higher training than that is to be able to remember to be kind. And then everything else will fall into place. So with this, let's remember to practice and become one with the practice. Not practice for the sake of the number of hours or the number of techniques or the number of times that I need to practice mechanically, but to practice and merge with the practice, that any time you practice, even if it is just once a day or 3 or 4 times a day, a week, not a day, when you merge into the practice, all the blessings of the practice is exhibited in your personality. It is great blessings. It is such a great blessing to be aware. It is a great blessing to be awake, to awaken from that deep slumber or the deep sleep, to awaken into a life of kindness, which is greatness, compassion. These beautiful feelings, wishing all good health, peace and harmony, we conclude our class and training for the day.